this is the first trip that I saw a huge difference with my mom dealing with dementia. First, I must say, I must give my dad his props because he is truly one of God's favorites. Dealing with my mom with dementia on a daily basis here, and conversations are totally different than when her and I, when I was growing up. Her and I were just as close as you and I were, to where I can talk to her about any and everything. And for that shift to change for me, that I don't have my mom to talk to, it's very heartbreaking for me on that aspect. But thank God, God blessed me with you to have a daughter that I can lean on and, I can share and talk to about any and everything. But just not having that relationship with my mom is totally different.
We started on our knees, had known a lot. Then we found our way to church. God got our knees and said, right. You pulled us out the dirt. Now we're walking in our purpose, not just shopping in vain. And calling our Holy Father, staying away from the lies, 'cause you taught us how to apply. We love the way you do it. Yeah, you did it, and you did it. When the road got rough, you pulled us through it. You always do it. Yeah, you did it. Yeah, we love the way you do it. Yeah. Walking a different by avenue. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Different by Avenue. I'm Dee, and I'm here with Bree. We hope you all had a beautiful Easter Sunday last week. We are still in the season of renewal and fresh starts.
Happy Wednesday. Today is all about looking at our roots. We're talking about how some of our family relationships need a total resurrection, a new way of communicating and a new way of loving. But before we get started, let's get into our prayer. Lord, in this post-Easter season, we thank you for the promise of renewal. We lift up our family lines today. The cycles we're breaking and the parents we're learning to love in entirely new ways. Give us grace for our mothers, our families, and the strength to hold the boundaries you've called us to. Amen.
All right. We are two wives and moms who are still navigating the complicated off-roading of family dynamics. I'm finally on a paved road with Rodrigo, but sometimes that road leads right back to the people who raised us.
Yes. And I'm coming from the Texas mom aspect, trying to keep the peace and the yes ma'am energy alive with Bo, and I just navigating what it means to lead our family through the messy stuff.
We aren't doing this conversation alone today. We brought the two women who started our stories.
Yes, we have our mothers. We have Felicia and Miss Taryn joining us today. These are two women who have lived their own versions of raising their parents and are now parents that we are raising in our own way.
Momentary stop for Sebastian screaming in the background. Survivors and cycle breakers. Ladies, welcome to the Avenue. Today is about role reversal. So it's when you become the emotional anchor or really the teacher for the very people who taught you how to walk.
Yes, it's the tension of healing your own inner child while also trying to help your parents heal theirs.
So, Mom, I want to start with you. I feel like I've lived 17 lives, but you were the beginning of one of them. So how does it feel being one watching me turning into a parent and trying to parent my parent? How do you feel about being in that boundary, on the other side of the boundaries?
It's wonderful to see you have your ups and downs, your struggles, because they always say, just wait till you have your own kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing with the technology that is today. Seeing what you have to avoid that we didn't have to. You had, at 4 years old, you were using computers and knew how to do it, but it was limited. You could only do whatever video game we put on or, typing, but not accidentally getting into the wrong area. So that's something that I think you have to address, and even the TV shows, which is, I think, why you said, really cut back on hardly any TV, just because you don't want to have that experience out there to your child. Let him be a child,
Yeah.
And
I have to try.
Mom, Alicia, You've dealt with so much, especially dealing with your mom, my grandma's journey with dementia. How did that shift your perspective on what it means to honor your parent?
That's a huge change for me. I just got back last week from visiting my parents for a week, and this is the first trip that I saw a huge difference with my mom dealing with dementia. First, I must say, I must give my dad his props because he is truly one of God's favorites. Dealing with my mom with dementia on a daily basis here, I just had it for a week, but he deals with it on a daily basis. And conversations are totally different than when her and I, when I was growing up. Her and I were just as close as you and I were, to where I can talk to her about any and everything. And for that shift to change for me, that I don't have my mom to talk to, it's very heartbreaking for me in that aspect. But thank God, God blessed me with you to have a daughter that I can lean on and, I can share and talk to about any and everything. But just not having that relationship with my mom is totally different. It is really hard for me. But I look at her, this little woman who used to be the matriarch of the family, who's now like trying to tell her what to do. And sometimes she can be a little stubborn because that's a part of her I don't think we'll ever lose. Thank God that, she can stand up for herself in certain aspects. But to see this woman to the point now is very heartbreaking for me. That love never goes away. And I know soon I won't have her because as we get older, it's like you have to accept reality. So family is so, so important. But I try to step in and give them some guidance. But you've kind of taken over that lead, Bree, that I have to step back now. It's like, well, let me be the mom and, guide my family. But no, your energy just exploded. So I just want to say that. But again, it's totally different. Totally different.
Understand.
Do you feel like you've had to get on your Texas high horse?
Oh, yes. I have a perfect story for this, Dee.
Okay.
Why I had to get on that high horse. So one day I was doing a ladies trip with the women at the church, and I talked to my mom every day. Every day we talked. And so she knew I was going with the ladies, but I had not made sure she got home the night before because she went out with some ladies and had a drink or two and, lives a little further. I'm driving back and I'm like, let me call my mom. I was so nice of her to wait until after all the ladies were gone. I dropped everybody off. So I'm calling. She doesn't answer. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm going to give her a moment. And then I'm like, this seems like I need to get on the tollway because I'm going to have to go a little faster to help me get home so I can make some decisions. I'm calling and calling. No answer. I called on every app that you have. There's Snapchat I called, Facebook I called, Instagram I called. No response. I called the police and have them go to my mom's house. I'm like, what if she's passed out? Because she's there by herself. And so the police call me back and they're like, oh yeah, everything looks all right. It's all in place. And I'm like, that's how my mom is. She's a neat freak. It's always gonna look in place. I said, she didn't pass to go upstairs. Go upstairs. And they're like, man, we can't go into our house. I was like, all right, get away from the house. Get away from the house. I'm calling my friend Angel. And I'm like, hey, I need you to break in the back door. And I was like, but wait, because the cops are still there. Just hold on a second. And a good 30 minutes later, she calls me. She's like, hi, Neha. I'm like, where have you been? And she's like, oh, I was at the movie theaters and I had my phone on airplane mode. And I had called her friend that she was at the theaters with on Facebook and they ignored my call too. And like, oh yeah, your daughter called me. I'm like, mother,
y'all don't think if I'm going through extreme lengths to call you, and I don't normally call you on Facebook, you would say, hey, this is weird. Your daughter.
Yeah, that's what you think this woman would say, but that's not what she said. She's like, oh, okay. Just do like nothing ever happened. So going forward, we share our locations with each other just to make sure that we're good. Good. So yes, that's the story I have, and that's why I've taken over that role for the family at the moment.
Talk about parenting your parent. Yeah, that's because I would say I got all the stories the opposite way of like, mom's calling me. And, back then my phone was the only reason you had that phone was so mom and dad could get in touch with you. And texting was like barely a thing. You had to pay, 9 cents a text. And, I'm aging myself a little bit. But, yeah, if that phone rang, I was in trouble. I missed some curfew, and my parents were annoyingly strict, and like Fort Knox level
your dad was.
Systems, and
your dad was.
But
So
like,
I
Mom,
always
you got
end up-
one. You
Yes.
going up until whatever hour to make sure I got home safe.
That's the same thing. That's what I do to my mother now. I got to make sure she's made it home.
You know, and let me just add to that story. When I got back, I went to the front office, the purchase office, and because they were still open when I got home, and I walked in. They said, "Felicia, your daughter has been looking for you." I said, "Yes, I've talked to her." They said, "If anything ever happens to me, I want your daughter on my case. I want her to be the detective to find me." And I said, "Yeah, that is my daughter. It's not playing about me."
Well, funny story, when my mom, who has Alzheimer's, when she was living on her own, I had an AirTag with her, and I even got on the cameras, on the street cameras, because she was missing, and figured out where she was because she went walking. So there's street cameras for traffic. You can look. And I saw her, so I called the police and told them where she was on the street.
Wow.
To get her. So, there are more ways to find you.
Thank you for adding that.
You didn't even get to detective level yet.
I need to get that for my
level was getting in the car and driving.
Yeah.
I definitely need to get that for my mom. Definitely. Because she will drive sometimes. She'll get confused going to the store a few times.
So the trick is to get the AirTag with a pretty flower case or something, so she leaves it on her keys.
Thank you for that tip. I definitely will. Next trip, I will take care of that.
Exactly. All right. I mean, for me, I think raising my parents looks like learning to say I love you, but I don't agree with this path, and having to realize that my paved road requires a peace and boundaries that I really don't want to compromise on, even for my first family.
So this next story that I have, I think about the first time Mom and I went out to officially drink when I was able to. We were in North Dallas, and I've been in college, and you go to college and you learn a lot, but you also learn how to hold your liquor sometimes. So we went to this little, they call it like the lemon bar.
My gosh. Are you seriously going to call me out right now?
And
calling you out.
And we had these like lemon drinks. It was kind of like a margarita, and they had them in these big jars, right? And they had the little flashing lights. They were, just opening, so they were trying to be flashy. And so Mom and I each had one drink. I'm able to walk on out, and I was like, woo, woo. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll drive us home, and I'm driving. We're not, this point, we don't live too far. So, I'm driving home, and we get to the house, and my mom gets sick, and I'm like, Mom, are you okay? Like, I just didn't know what to do. And so that, I think, had kind of reshaped just me and my mom just laughing through that whole situation, and then hearing her stories about, her first time drinking and stuff like that. So I know for Mom, how was it to be able to finally drink with your daughter when that came around?
It was so weird to me. It's like, because I always look at you as my little baby, my mija, this little girl. And I know you're a young woman and you grew up, you've been to college. I understand all of that. But in my mind, in my head, I should not be drinking with my daughter. No, that doesn't sound right? But after I got over it and realized how mature you were, you matured very fast, and I can trust you. And it's like, because I never wanted you to be in a situation that you couldn't take care of yourself. Like I said, yes, at that time, yes, I did get hammered. I didn't have anything to eat, but I felt comfortable because I had safety. You were my safety. Because you and I, you were like my second heartbeat. I will die for you because that's just how close we are. And I think I took it, like I said, we're just sitting there, and it didn't bother me until I stood up, and that's when I felt it. But it's a story I thought we was going to keep buried, but I see you letting our secrets out, Mija.
It's okay, Mom. We're not blaming you. We're blaming them. They got us with the okie doke.
Okay.
All we tasted
There
was
you go,
juice,
Mija.
but it was serious at the end, okay? Oh, man. But I just love our moments that we have like that, where because after something happens, Mom and I can truly laugh at it. Mom, in one of our prior episodes, we had talked about some of the sayings that we have within our family, and the one that came to mind was going around Laura's house. So I had to tell that story when we were in Illinois. So just little moments like that, my mom and I will just crack up. And you know how, like, down the line, you'll just look at each other and start laughing again, and you'll be on the exact same memory, and it's like, well, how'd you know? Like, how are we there? So those are the moments that I get to have with Mom, even though sometimes I do have to parent her.
Yeah. It's the beginning of the story is a sad one, but also I think me parenting my mom, like, little bit of switch. But we keep going back and forth because I still need my mom. And so I'm gonna tell two stories, and you'll see what I mean. one where I saw the switch was my mom was having her midlife crisis and said she was going to do a marathon before she turned 50. And she was doing it until she was with a friend who could not finish the Disney marathon. And at Disney, if you are going too slow, it is not called the slow bus, but they basically get picked up by the slow bus. And it is especially, I mean, I watched my mom and she was so like, oh my gosh, I'm so pumped, I'm so excited, I've been training for months. And then to get the call and she's like, yeah, this sucked. Like, I feel so bad. And I'm like, you were there for your friend. That's incredible. Let me talk you off a ledge. Sign us up. I'm going to do a race with you. Like, let's go. I was in college. So also, I don't need training.
Oh.
I'm fit and can totally do a half marathon. I'll be fine. Forgot to train because I was in college. So flip-flopping, mom still had to mom me in the middle of the marathon because I was going, I can't do it. I can't. This is horrible. But on the drive up, she was driving from Miami to Sarasota to pick me up where I went to college. And then from Sarasota, we were going to Orlando for the marathon. So on the drive, my mom had to drive from Miami to Sarasota where I was going to college. And then from Sarasota, we were going to Orlando for the race, for the Disney race. And my mom got the very unfortunate call that her sister had passed. And she's on the side of the road having an understandable hard moment. And I had to pick up the pieces and say, come to me, take a minute, come to me. There is nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is continue on and do what your sister would have loved you to see you succeed, to see you and your daughter do something together. We finished the race. We finished it. She was singing Just Keep Swimming the whole way just to get me running. And then we drove from Orlando back down to Miami in order to
went right to the funeral.
And I think that was my first, I need to be the mom.
Oh.
It's going to be okay. There isn't anything you can do right now. It's going to be okay. Let's have a distraction. Let's pray. Let's do other things so that we can move past this. And then when you can still mourn, but here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. The second story though is it flip-flops. I don't know, probably will forever because I still go to mom like, my gosh, my kid is driving me insane. What am I doing? But I mean, you have a drinking story with your mom. Last intense drinking story with my mom was I invited her on my bachelorette. And you know why? I still need my mom, which most people are like, the heck you brought your mom? I did invite also a really good family friend who was basically my aunt. And so my mom did have someone to hang out with and not just a bunch of kids at a bachelorette party. Like, they were included and they played all the raunchy games with us and it was hilarious. But it was more the like, I needed mom to take care of me and I didn't want us to go like have my friends like I get schwasty and they have to shower me off. They went ham, I think because they knew my mom was there. And they got me so plastered that I had to be showered down by my mom. So like, I guess it was fine.
I was holding the hair while you were puking in the planter.
I don't remember half of that day. I mean, they went hard on me. But
Got it.
yeah, to me, it's funny that the flip flop. I mean,
Yes.
I know you probably have the same, it's always going to go back, especially being moms now.
You need your
I
mom
need my mom.
to talk to, because there was many times during fostering, I'm like, was I like this? Mom, did I do this? Are you sure? Like, is this normal? And mom's like, yeah, you got some crazy stuff too.
Yeah.
But yes, it is good to always have mom. I know when I was going through my struggles last year, my mom was the first one to get on a plane and really mother me again. And I was like, oh, I just wanted to curl up in a ball in her lap and just let her rub my hair and just tell me I'm still pretty. But yes, mom was always there for that. So love you, mom. Thank you. What is one thing your parents did that you swore you would never do, but you caught yourself doing anyway?
Terry, you wanna go
Felicia.
first?
Oh, this is
She's talking to me. Didn't I tell you not to? She would do that to me. And I swore I would never do that to my children. What did I do? As soon as I have my children, I do that same thing. I did that same thing to both of them.
And my
Didn't
head would
I
go
tell-
back and you would do it with every word.
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. I
That's
didn't
funny.
want to do that. And I said I would never do that to my children because I thought that was just, gosh, that was worse than getting a spanking, I guess, to me. It's like, gosh, how could you do that to me? but then I did it to my children. So yes, I do
Mhm.
apologize now after the fact that you grew up. So yeah.
Okay.
That's funny.
And I'm so sorry, Miss Taryn. Did you have one as well?
I can't think of any. I mean, we all got spanked when we were kids, and I still popped Danielle in the butt occasionally, but it wasn't as bad.
Yeah, it was not
Maybe
the
that's
level
it.
of thinking that y'all had either.
No. My dad had the fastest belt in the West, and we didn't do that to you. So that's the only thing I could think of.
I mean,
And
y'all, you had
food.
horror
Well,
stories
food.
of eating soap and stuff too.
Yeah, but I never even thought of that.
Yeah, right?
It was you have to eat everything off your plate, and no matter what I give you, you eat it. Because there were things I couldn't eat as a kid. I never did that to Danielle that I remember. Never,
I wasn't the picky eater either, though.
My mom was that person. I would sit at that table until all those vegetables were ate.
But you weren't smart enough. As a kid, I had to sit at the table. Same thing. Had to sit at the table to this day I still hate peas. But I was smart enough to wrap them up in a paper towel and throw them in the trash can. But you
Mom
weren't. I'm
had
like,
the same
my
story, but to a dog.
I
Yeah,
walk away.
the dog.
She's in the kitchen by herself
You gotta
eating.
be honest. Mom's like, just throw it away then.
But I didn't tell you that. You had to learn that on your own. But yeah.
I have another one. Do you feel like we are easier or harder on you as parents than you were on your own parents?
Okay.
Bree is harder on me.
Yeah. Now, I had extremely great parents in terms of flexibility. Things were different then too, but I'm the youngest of 5. So by the time I came around, it was like, come back when you want to come home, and call when you want to call. Just let me know you're not dead. That's how I was raised. So no, she didn't have that ease, She definitely, I remember one of her boyfriends wanted to sneak in the window, and Danielle's like, oh, hell no, you are not coming in my bedroom window at my house.
My first boyfriend, my dad was cleaning the AK-47 on the table when the first time he came to the house. You
Not at his house.
enjoy life more than that.
How do we keep the avenue open for reconciliation without letting the off-roading habits track in?
So with that being like, we talk of our off-roading and how, God's given us this path and we keep veering off of it. We keep going and nope, just kidding. I know better. Let me go this other route, and I'm not going to listen to what he's obviously telling you is the right thing to do. And with reconciliation, especially with family, with your parents, and with vice versa, something happens or we're trying to set a boundary or get into an argument. Like, how do you keep going back to the forgiveness and reconciliation?
It's easy, your family. I mean, there's
A lot
no
of times, I'm sorry, go ahead.
difficulty really when you love each other and
It's easier said than done. Because for me, I think I can reconcile with my mom very easily. And that's because of all the experiences we've done throughout life.
Yeah.
But I'm not able to reconcile as easily with my father. There's been gaps where I've been completely ghost. So I know that's something that God is working on my heart with for forgiveness reasons. And so still a work in progress in that one. But definitely feel like the avenue that God has placed for me is to continue to mother my mother, because she seems to have forgot how she raised me a lot of times. So we just have to, do a little payback, but making sure that I do all of it out of love and grace.
Yeah.
even with your father, he is your father.
Yes.
And, it is love, and he means well. They're just raised in a different time.
Yeah, but it brings up the point that, we are in a very different time, and I talk of boundaries openly now. Like, that wasn't a thing. You didn't have boundaries with your parents. You either just didn't talk to them and moved to another state, or like it is very different. And between technology and social media and the understanding that it may be how you do things, but it's not how I want to do things. How do you say, I love you, but sorry, this isn't going to happen. We're not accepting this. I'm going to take a stupid example. Like, no more toys coming into the door. Because, Lord, this kid already has flooded the house with the number of toys that I'm stepping on. And I've seen it worse at other people's houses, but I don't want to get to that point. Like, we had
Hey, you haven't lived until you step on Legos.
He's not old
Yes,
enough to like
yes.
do that.
No,
And it's
that is
just
so
wait.
true.
Oh, as soon as that happens, it'll just like Legos only in one room. Like I need to. Like, they cannot. That's that boundary. But that's one that I know that's a tough one because you couldn't do the same thing for your parents. Like, don't buy something. I know my grandmother would have been like, "F you."
Here it is anyway.
Here are 6 gifts you never asked for.
That is true. But
you,
I'm
Ma?
so thankful. I don't know about you, Taryn. I'm thankful for the time that I grew up in. I would not want to be a child in this society right now. I do not want.
Amen.
I am so grateful that I'm not, because this society, these youths now, or I feel sorry for the country. If this is what they have, we have to look forward to them taking care of the country. But thank God I have my baby who's looking out for me. And sometimes I do give her a hard time, and I do sometimes on purpose. Because I know she loves me. She'll fuss and and she even calls my brother on me and tell him about me or whatever. But I know it's out of love, so couldn't be more grateful for that.
So talking about family messes is one thing. Let's talk about the mess in your house. If you are feeling overwhelmed by the mental load of raising everyone, let our friends at Grace Edge Facilities help you clear the path.
They are a professional cleaning company serving Miami-Dade County. They specialize in detailed, reliable cleanings, everything from routine maintenance to the deep post-Easter spring clean we all need.
They use eco-friendly, non-toxic products that are safe for your kids and your pets. Grace in every detail, Edge in every result.
Head to graceedgefacilities.com or call 1-888-802-0184. Take a load off your shoulders and let them handle the scrub brushes. But before we go, I have some hilarious TikToks of adult children gentle parenting their parents.
Yeah.
Would whoop them.
So this is the Bree sends me TikToks all the time, and so we're gonna get your opinion on these 2 TikToks. So one at a time. This one is about raising your parents.
Your parents as hard is you want to pop them, because I'm tired of having the same conversation over and over. How many times have I told you? Okay, and they was popping and whooping us, but now that I got to parent you, now we can't pop. Now it's time to gentle parent your parents. No, because y'all don't know how serious I am. I'm tired of having the same conversations over and over and over again. That's a scam email, okay? Nobody in Nigeria want to send you nothing. They don't. Why would they pick you? And I done told you the first time. Ain't no prince in Denmark trying to get you nothing. And take that medicine. Because the doctor done said it, and then you be woozy, and then you got a headache, and we keep having the same thing over and over. I'm not going to take you to the doctor. You're not going to listen. If Johnny had 5X.
All right, so that's the first one. The second one is, so you remember the days when now for D, it's probably different, but Mom would get my report card and she's reading off, and a lot of parents, the way they do you when they get that report card, it's like, well, you should have knew this math like you knew that song. So that's what this next TikTok is going to be about.
On the best comment section, it said, reading my parents' labs, like how they used to review my report card. Let's get into it. So we fell in cholesterol again. Johnny had 3 damn apples, but not you. You chose cookies instead. Why is your doctor calling me at work? So the doctor lying? If you focus on your A1C like you focused on that phone, it'd be under 6.5%. You just be eating whatever you want, huh? How you fell in hydration? You're 60% water. You're not going on that Carnival cruise this summer, and that's that. Say goodbye to fun. You know everybody's business on the street, but you don't remember what the doctor said. So if I emailed your doctor right now, they're going to tell me everything is fine?
I mean, it's what half the time we think.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, the joke being like, I mean, yeah, I was yelled at before the report card, so it wasn't so much so like it was by the time the report card came around, they're like, okay, you heard me.
Yeah, because your grades
I didn't
were
get
always
the
good,
smart-
so it wasn't that.
Right.
What about you, Mom?
Yeah, I've seen them both before, and it's like, that is so true. And it's funny how that relates to kids parenting their parents, because how they made the relationship of a report card regarding our test results from the doctor, and it's like, that's kind of correlate how we would treat each other. So they had good points, and they made it in a funny way, but it's true. Yes, you guys do
Mhm.
have to. And I know, Bree, you, when I tell you I go to the doctor, you're asking me questions to the point I want to say, well, here, call the doctor yourself.
So I may have to use that one. It's a you're on TikTok, but you're not paying attention to this. So that's the next one I'm gonna use. Just a heads up.
Yes.
Oh man.
I don't have to run after them so much for the medicine side of it. That's absolutely. What do you mean? You're not taking it easy and relaxing, and like both parents are workaholics? I'm like, yeah. Excuse me. It's like we've
Where do you
already.
get it from?
Yeah, I know where I get it from, and that's why I have to stop y'all so that I can learn to stop. That is it for Raising Your Parents episode. Go love your family today, boundaries and all.
Next week, we're keeping the family talk going with an episode called Daddy's Girl. My longtime friend, Janae, will be joining us. She was the daddy's girl that I always envied growing up, and we're going to get into the truth about father-daughter dynamics.
We're diving deep into the avenue of the father. You don't want to miss it. Follow us at Different by Avenue on all of the socials.
Yes, and make sure you share this with the cycle breaker who needs to hear that they're not alone. Bye, guys. Thank you, moms.
Another day, another walk, keeping faith in the stride. No matter where the avenue goes, he's the one to always provide. From the dirt to the grace, you gotta keep the faith. Trust the spirit and the truth. Yeah. Because God will never lose. See you next time. We gotta wait, you it. Yeah, you did it. Yeah, you did it. When the road got rough, you pulled up to it. You always you it. Yeah, you did it. Yeah, we got a way you do it. Yeah. On a different by avenue.